This is 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells. He was invited by these friends to a 4th of July trip. But when it was time to go home, everyone made it back safely except Nolan. So Nolan is a freshman football player from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He was invited by his friends to go on a 4th of July trip to Horn Island. According to his friends, at some point during the day, he left from with them to go spend time with a girl. After he spends time with this girl, all of a sudden, Nolan goes missing. Around 3 p.m., Nolan disappeared. No one knows where he is. The girl doesn't know where he is, neither does his friends. His friends and the girl is saying that they all thought that he got a ride back to the mainland. But how can he get a ride back to the mainland? He came with you. I'm trying to figure out the part when they said they thought that he got a ride back to the mainland. You can only get to Horn Island by boat or aircraft. So who would he get a ride from? He had his phone. Why wouldn't he call you guys? Oh, because they found his phone, but they didn't find him. The math ain't mathing here. Something ain't right. Something is off. Something is very strange about this story. Have you guys seen Horn Island? This is Horn Island. There's literally nothing on that island. No homes, no gas stations, no restaurants, no roads. Like, it's nothing on that island. This island is so isolated, you have to have a boat to get to it. That island is known for alligators as well. And if someone gets in trouble there, they can't just walk to a nearby house or business to get help. Nolan was last seen wearing blue swim trunks, no shirt, and sunglasses. They are posting that a body has been found pending identification. Let's all pray that Nolan is found safe and alive. Please share this video to bring awareness and to make sure Nolan's story reaches as many people as possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another reaction video by Saleni. If it's your first time coming across my page, or if it's your first time coming across my video, kindly remember to push the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also remember to share it. Now, folks and family, we have seen this story before, yeah? And this story is not the first time it's happening. This is something that has been happening once in a while, and the black community never gets the right justice. Yeah, and this story has a lot of black people paying attention to right now because it's the most circulating story right now. This is something that is so sad, and is a story that really needs so much justification, and we really need true answers to what happened to the 18-year-old Nolan Xavier, who was out on a trip with his friends and he never made it back at home alive. Yeah? Remember, if you don't know who Nolan Xavier is, he's a 18-year-old boy who recently on July 4th was out on a trip with his friends on an island, and he never made it back at home alive. So ladies and gentlemen, why is this happening? Why is it that we have a lot of cases where when there is only one black person in the group of whites, we always have a sudden case that will pop up later? Yeah, this is not the first time that is happening. An 18-year-old teenager goes on a trip, doesn't make it home, and now his family is left heartbroken with no answers. And when the friends are asked what happened, they all say that they don't know. So folks, let's pay attention to the videos that I'm going to play for you today as I come back at the end with my commentaries.
So three white boys and one black boy decided to go on a boat and enjoy the weekend activities. Three white boys made it back home, one black boy didn't, and the ignorance, oh, they're having a field day today. I mean, these ignorant motherfuckers already solved the case. I mean, without no evidence, without no clues, they've already come to the conclusion that the three white boys murdered the black kid. Now, I don't know where these motherfuckers be living, but how'd you come up with that conclusion? Because if that happens in your everyday life where you see this type of scenario play out, I don't want no white friends. At least any white friends where you live at. But here are two more than likely things that played out that got nothing to do with race bait. One, kid got shit faced, separated from the group, fell into the water, and drowned. Most likely. Happens all the time. Two, something happened on that boat, and the boys know exactly what happened but don't want to get in trouble. Perhaps an accident. Also, Very likely. But you know what is highly unlikely? Is that these three white boys decided to go through their granddaddy's attic and pull out a Ku Klux Klan outfit and thought to themselves that this would be a great time to murder their black friend. The fuck's wrong with y'all?
Again, let me get this straight. The same man who found Tamala Horsford laying face down in the grass under the deck after she allegedly fell off of the deck 14 feet is the same man who was an officer for Forsyth County, the county that they're in. And this is the same man who is repeatedly accessing the incidental report without authorization and then leaking it. But again, you mean to tell me this is all an accident? This is part 3. Pull up a chair. Let's keep chatting. Now, the public was already fired up around this case, but after Jose was fired, the public was like, oh, y'all are trying to manipulate me, and hashtag Tamla Horsford started trending. After the hashtag went crazy, the case was reopened in 2020. An independent autopsy was done. Now, remember, the first investigation was done by Forsyth County. This time, the family is asking that the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, oversees the autopsy because, again, they believe something happened. That 2020 autopsy found injuries that many found hard to reconcile with a simple fall. Like, well, how come these couldn't be injuries from a simple fall? Well, let me tell you what that autopsy turned up. Cuts to her face, her wrist, her hands, and her lower legs. Hold on. A dislocated wrist, a broken neck, a brain bleed, and a laceration to the right ventricle of her heart. A laceration to the right ventricle of her heart. Now, Tamla's family attorney was arguing that those abrasions were defensive wounds. Family attorney also argued that the mismatched witness stories and then the nature of the injuries pointed to the fact that something more than an accident happened. That investigation lasted over a year. They even looked into the husband child, his phone, his social media. They found absolutely nothing. They tested paint, they tested his clothing, and the husband was not connected to the death of Tamla at all. On July 28th, 2021, the case was closed yet again. Their conclusion was that the facts did not support pursuing criminal charges. And then the district attorney agreed. No new indictment, no new ruling, case closed. Now, who knows if this death investigation was taken seriously from the beginning, meaning the crime scene was actually preserved, meaning that more than 5 crime scene photos were actually taken. We might have gotten a little bit further, but we didn't. Unfortunately, that is the case of Tamla Horsford. 2 investigations, 1 death, ruled an accident fueled by alcohol at a girls' night with a bunch of people, and nobody saw, heard, or knows anything. 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells vanishes on Horn Island. Only his friends returned. Days later, Nolan Wells found dead. Let's talk about it. Nolan Xavier Wells traveled to Horn Island during the 4th of July holiday with friends. Only his friends returned from Horn Island on the 4th of July. Now, Nolan Wells' friends is saying they don't know what happened. The last time they talked to him or saw him, he was on the other side of the island speaking with a young lady. Well, where is this young lady and who is this young lady? Even though they saw him speaking with this young lady, they assumed he would return with this young lady. Now, why would they assume he would return with this young lady if he didn't tell them out of his mouth that he would return with her? He came with you. He should have returned with you. Correct? Right. They don't know what happened. They knew is they returned without him. Now, if my friend was missing, I would have alerted authorities on Horn Island immediately before I returned home because I'm not leaving without someone that traveled with me to that island. However,
They returned. Does that sound suspicious? Of course it does. Now that Nolan's body have been found this morning on Horn Island, authorities is saying they have no suspects in the case. What the hell do you mean you don't have any suspects in the case? I can name three. The three kids that Nolan traveled there with. America, what is going on? This Black American young man traveled to Horn Island with these three white young men, and only the three white young men returned. And authorities is saying there's no suspects in the case. Had this been the other way around, we know who the suspects would be. Stop. And don't tell me it's not about race. I'm not sure where we're going with this culture of what's going on, but in my opinion, every parent needs to be aware at this point. Every young man, every young woman needs to be aware. At this point, I don't know what else to say. How should I feel? How would you feel? I know how I feel. My heart breaks for this family because once again, we have a young Black male found unalive after taking a holiday trip with his white male friends. What are we supposed to suspect? And the authorities is saying that they don't have any suspects in this case.
I don't care what anyone says, there's something so sinister about this case. And if you guys don't know, this is 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells. He went missing after going out with some friends on 4th of July weekend. Now, according to the New York Post, they said he vanished after a boat trip with friends on Saturday and was last seen around 3 p.m. talking to a girl on the north end of Horn Island. Horn Island, just so you guys know, is a popular island about 10 miles off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. If you're looking at a map, it looks like this. The thing that bothers me the most is that he went out with these friends. Yeah, this just doesn't sit right with me at all. And of course, I'm combing through social media and I saw on someone's live that one of the kids in that video, that their family was a judge. I also went on this girl's TikTok who was talking about the case, and then she said something really interesting, that she was kind of combing through comments and there were so many interesting comments about this case. One person commented that they were near them and he was nowhere in sight. Another person responded and said, was that the same group of kids that was basically like throwing beer cans in the water and driving crazy? This other person made a comment and said that those white boys should be questioned, that she went to school with them and kind of knew them, and she really hopes that those were not the boys that he was with. There was also another comment that said those group of kids may have been fighting or something like that. Again, this could all be nothing, but definitely worth mentioning because the family is desperately seeking answers. I was on the mom's Facebook and it just made me incredibly sad, so I wanted to share the story. The mom said that her and the dad, they're not okay, that they have so many questions, that their heart is breaking. He was last seen wearing these blue swim trunks, so please, if anyone has seen him or heard anything, you are urged to contact authorities. They said to call the Jackson County Sheriff's Department at 228-769-3063. I'm sharing this story because I really want people to dig into this case, because oftentimes in situations like this, they'll just say, oh, he just fell off the boat, or oh, he drowned, without ever really knowing the truth, if he was like pushed or if something happened like a fight. I want this case thoroughly investigated and I want answers. And to the family, I'm so sorry, and I'm going to continue to pray and post whatever I can.
See where they said that the mom received the phone of Nolan. So the friends had his phone. They say he left it on the boat, but they don't know what happened to him. Like what? They don't remember what happened to him, y'all. So this is the news that's out now. The mama has his phone. The baby is missing out of Horn Island. The friends don't remember what happened. Don't know nothing. They left him there and they end up coming back home, I guess, and brought the phone back with them. Like, I know y'all be wanting y'all kids. Y'all love the fact that y'all kids hang with white boys because it gives them a certain status or whatever. Like, you know. But you need to teach them white and black. It's a difference. The white people out here teaching their kids about us. You best believe that. That's why they be acting it out too. But we teaching ours the positive way. Be on the lookout. Don't trust them. Don't be on no water with them. Don't drink with them like that. Be in your right mind when you around them. And if you're going to be around them, bring your cousin with you. Bring somebody else with you. I teach mine that, like, my kids know about the white people. I mean, it is what it is. The white people teaching theirs, so I'm teaching mine. I teach my kids about white folks. Be careful. They racist. They don't like us. I teach them all that. So my kids are always aware and on alert. They know the ones that like us, and they know the ones that don't. They know the traits of the racists, and they know the traits of the ones that's not racist. I already taught my kids that. We don't play them games over here. But like I said, y'all want y'all kids around these white boys in predominantly white areas, you need to teach them how to defend themselves and how to survive around them, because we already know how they get down. Okay? And I be telling my sister the same thing. Like, she be having my nephew around these white folks about he go to the white school and end up with white people. Okay. You better teach them the ins and the outs. That's all I got to say for you. My kids know. I don't have them around no predominant white. I don't even play that. I need them. I need a bunch of us. Because, no, ma'am. I teach them everything they need to know. They don't need to be around no white people to learn it. I hope they find that baby. And it's just devastating. Baby went missed on July 4th. It's finna be July 6th. And they still don't know the baby. Y'all have a good night.
So this is Nolan Xavier Wells. He's an 18-year-old young guy that went missing on the 4th of July in Jackson, Mississippi, and on Horns Island. And this is the group of friends that he went missing with. Like, this is so sad. My heart literally goes out to his mom and his family and everyone that has been searching for him, because I just did a story recently about a young black guy another teenager that was with a group of white kids, where a white lady and her family rescued him because he could not swim. He had on a little life jacket in some lake somewhere, and his friends was making monkey noises. His Caucasian pale-faced friends was making monkey noises, berating him, cracking jokes about how his father was incarcerated, and trying to force him to swim across the lake that they dropped him off on the other side. He was like, I cannot swim. I'm gonna die. Like, I'm not about to do this to myself. I'm not a great swimmer. They were laughing and taunting him and would not go back to get him. Had it not been for that white family that went and rescued him and allowed him to get on the back of whatever their kayak to swim him to the other side, this could have been his story as well. Black people have got to stop, especially when you have young teenage black boys, because they seem to be the main ones that are like happy-go-lucky with groups of white people being the token black person. Girls do it too, but the guys, boys, young teenage boys are more prone to being hiking on a boat somewhere, in the woods somewhere, on a trail somewhere, and being the only black person. It is not safe. History has proven that it is not safe, and present day is continuing to prove that it is not safe for black people to be the only black person, especially somewhere in nature or on the water with white people. We can't do it. We just cannot. It is very sad, but time and time again, now he's missing, and his friends claim they don't know where he's at. They all made it back, and they had his cell phone, but he just disappeared, and nobody has absolutely no clue. They all dumb, deaf, blind, and mute. Now, look at what his mother posted. This really broke my heart, y'all. It really did. 18 years old, about to be a college athlete, a high school football player. So this is his mom. This is what she posted on her Facebook. This is our Nolan Wells, a.k.a. No-No, one of the sweetest and kindest souls you could ever meet. He went missing on Horn Island on July 4th. I'm looking for any pics or videos that was taken. Basically during this trip, they said that there were two people there that was the YouTubers. So maybe they were like vlogging or something like that. Hopefully somebody comes forward, but y'all already know how they do, one band, one sound. They gonna stick beside it. They don't care if they seen it go down. All of the things they show us in the movies and the TV shows about how teenagers be conspiring. Remember that movie Jawbreakers that came out a while ago? They unalive, they killed one of their friends and everybody took it to the grave. We've seen too many videos of white teenagers killing each other and everybody taking it to the grave, and eventually it comes out in the wash. This is his parents. That's his mom and that's his dad. Her name is Christine. Guys, my husband and I are going to have to stop posting for a little bit. We've been up for close to 48 hours now. My body feels like it is shutting down. Please contact the Jackson County Sheriff, and this is where you can contact. If you or somebody you know may know something and y'all see this video, don't hesitate to call that number. Unfortunately, there has been an update. And it says a body was found on the northwest end of Horn Island on Monday morning, according to Jackson County Sheriff, which is today, earlier this morning. Officials said the body was found around 8:45 a.m. by a park ranger. The identity has not been confirmed, but officials have been on the island searching for 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells. Now, it has not been officially confirmed that this is Nolan, but more than likely it probably is. All of the white kids, they all got home safe and sound, and everybody acting like they don't know what happened, but they just so happen to have his cell phone. Please, and this is like my second or third video, do not let your kids, like, I know we want to move out the hood, we want to give our kids a better life, we think that it's better, being in the sticks with a bunch of white people because it makes you feel more affluent, it makes you feel more accomplished. It is not safe to have your children in areas where it's just predominantly white people. We need to be a little more multicultural around here if you are going to go that route. Educate your children on history. Educate your children on things that's been happening present day. Teach them about racism. Teach them about discrimination. Because when you send your kids out there into the wild and they just thinking, they're just my cool friend. No, these people are their ancestors the same way that we are ours. Let that sink in. What y'all think about this? My heart goes out to his family. I could not imagine. Like, he had so much promise. The world didn't even get the opportunity to see what he could do. Sound off in the comments below.
I'm not buying the "we thought he caught another ride" BS. I'm not doing it. He came with y'all, he should have left with y'all. Y'all also had his phone too, so make that make sense. Of course, here comes people saying, oh, it's not about race. No, but it is. Why is it the fact that the one black teen that went out with a whole bunch of white boys is the only one to show up deceased? Y'all not gonna like this one, but being the only black person in a group full of white people or whatever the race is not always the smartest or safest choice. For these white friends of his to say that they don't know what happened to him and they can't remember is a little off-putting. They were not looking out for their so-called friend, and it shows. Hence why I'm not believing anything that they're saying. I'm not buying anything that they're selling. Nolan deserved to be home safe and sound, just like his so-called friends got to be able to be home safe and sound. Prayers out to his family. I really hope they get some answers, because we all know, like, cases like this don't really get the attention that they deserve. They just get brushed over.
Let me just get this straight, okay? Since y'all are not fucking loud enough and not understanding what's going on here. 4 of them go on a boat, right? 3 of the Caucasian males end up back home safe and sound. 1 of them is missing. A black African American missing. Today, we found out that his body is deceased. They left him. Y'all don't see the fucking problem? Is this not an issue? Like, hello?
Christine Wansley is Nolan Xavier Wells' mother, and she has just confirmed on Facebook that the body identified at Horn Island is her son. She says, I want to thank our family, friends, community, United Cajun Navy, local law enforcement, and everyone involved for all the love, support, resources over the last few days. His father, our family, friends, and I are absolutely devastated. My heart broken. Sorry, I don't want to cry. My heart broken for my sweet son, who was always willing to cheer and uplift others. Nolan was a special soul. God took his time creating our son. I ask that you please give me and my family the time to grieve. Now, all I'm going to say is, parents, please be mindful of who your children are around, because everybody does not have your kids' best interests at heart. More so over if you have a friend group that looks like this. Now, I'm not saying every friend group is like this. We got to do better about keeping our kids surrounded by people that won't forget them on a fucking island, that won't get on a boat without them, that won't stop searching for them. My heart goes out to his family. I am so sorry for y'all loss.
Y'all can be mad at me if you want, but this story is not sitting right with me at all. Because how does the only black kid leave with the group and end up being the only one who never makes it home? I'm not buying the "we thought he caught another ride" BS. I'm just not. He came with y'all. He should have left with y'all. Y'all also had his phone too. So make that make sense. Of course, here come the comments saying it's not about race. Maybe not. But explain to me why the only black teen who went out with a group of white boys is the only one who ended up dead. Y'all not gonna like this, but being the only black person in a group where nobody's looking out for you is not always the safest situation. And for these so-called friends to say they don't know what happened or they can't remember, that's not sitting right with me either. They weren't looking out for their friend, period. That's why I'm not buying what they're saying. Nolan deserved to make it home the same way every single one of his so-called friends did. My prayers are with his family, and I truly hope they get answers. And y'all, tell me if I'm wrong. If your friend shows up dead, but somehow nobody remembers anything, would you just accept that? Or are some of y'all so uncomfortable talking about race that you'll ignore every red flag sitting right in front of you?
So, first of all, my deepest condolences to the family of the young Nolan, and for that young brother, rest in peace. We're going to stand with you till the end. For all that are going to check out this story, let's pray for the family that is deprived or has lost this kid. Let's pray that they get the true justification or the true answers of what happened to this young kid. Now, let me say one thing. When black people ask questions in cases like these, we are always told we are overreacting. We are always told that we are being over emotional, yeah, or we're just jumping into conclusions. Now that we have seen pictures of Nolan with his friends, he's supposed to be friends. Who left him? Yeah. Remember, they went with him to the island to have fun, but they didn't go back with him in the name that he went to see a girl. Yeah. And he was going to get a ride back home. So how do you go with someone to a place to have fun and let him stay, or rather you leave him behind? This is something that is so weird. And apparently they gave the phone of the young kid to the parent, saying that they don't remember what happened. This is so questionable, yeah? Now, when we are asking questions like what happened and we are trying to get these answers, we are not overreacting, because this is not the first case that this is happening. Remember, we had a different case recently of a young girl, yeah? Also, another one from South Africa. We have so many cases that are circulating online. A black person loses their life in midst of white people. Yeah? We are trying to get accountability. This is not overreaction. We are trying to get the accountability of life. Remember, someone has lost their life. Yeah? Someone who was not supposed to lose their life has lost their life in the name of they don't know what happened. Yeah? So this is something that you should see. Yeah, history has taught us, our community, that asking question is paranoia. And this is not paranoia. This is trying to get the accountability. Accountability. We are trying to know what really happened in the midst of this trip. Yeah, people want to know, did they kill the kid or what really happened to him? Because you can't say you went with someone outside and apparently you don't go back with him back at home. That's not even justifiable. Now, who was with Nolan? That's the real question. His friends. And remember, he was the only black person in midst of the friends who were outside with him. And what happened during the final moments, yeah, When did people realize that he was missing? And what were the actions they took? Did they call the cops? Yeah? Did they call the authority? We deserve to know clear answers about what happened to this young kid, because there's no way you went with him and suddenly all the white friends made it back home alive, and he's the one who lost his life. The reason this case resonates with so many black Americans is because we have seen families spending years just to get transparency. Yeah? And they don't get what they deserve. And this is a new case that we really don't need to let go. We really need to know what happened to the young black man. Yeah, no one really deserves to lose their lives, and no family deserves to mourn something that was maybe supposed not to happen. Yeah. So black families have had to push for attention, push for investigations, yeah, push for answers when their loved ones deserves those answers from day one. Nobody is saying a crime has been proven, yeah? Nobody is saying investigators shouldn't do their jobs. They should do their jobs. What we are saying is don't dismiss legitimate questions just because they are uncomfortable questions. Don't dismiss them. Our community has every right to demand thorough investigations. Every piece of evidence should be examined. Every timeline should be verified. Every witness should be interviewed. Yeah? That's what justice looks like. So you can't tell me that there is nothing that they have on report right now. They really need to get down to these, and tell us what really happened to the young black guy. Yeah? This is also a reminder to our young brothers. Protect yourselves. Kindly protect yourselves. And as you've seen many creators saying, if you're the only black person in the group, just go back at home. Yeah? I'll be aware of your surroundings, kindly. Don't assume everyone values your life, because they don't. Not everyone values your life. Yeah? Whether they're friends or not. The way your family does is not the same way the friends you assume their friends value your life. They don't. That's not about living in fear. It's just being cautionate. And it's not that everyone is bad, but we really need to have accountability and be aware of our surroundings. Yeah. To Nolan's family, know that people across the country are praying for you and standing with you. For the many creators that I've seen passing out this, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for passing this information. Let's not just look at it and dismiss it. I hope that we all get the truth. So, folks, tell me down in the comments, do you think that what happened to Nolan is justifiable? And do you think that we really deserve the truth? Yeah? And to the young guy, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace, Nolan. For real, rest in peace, bro. This was not fair to you. You didn't deserve what happened to you. For the people that are going to watch this video, let's have a conversation down on the comments. Yeah? Let's talk about this. Until the next video, peace. I'll be out here to update you on what happens next on this story. Thank you.